Listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free Larry.
All right, here we go again. Buckle up, rough roads ahead. Remember, the work I do is for God and the people. It's not for DOJ. It's not for FBI. It's not for DHS. Don't come around like you're going to recruit me into some stupid shit and I'm going to run off and commit a crime for you somewhere. You're pieces of shit. You're no good. You all sold out. You work for Satan, you work for criminals, and you love it because you give you a beautiful big lifestyle. You kill cops day in and day out. They don't even want to put it in the news anymore. But each time I hit them with some shit, because they are shit. And you see shit, you give it shit. Weirdos. Because they come around, they're willing you down. Automatically. Just like Trump and his fake thumbs up. They put that into his life because I was doing it. Then they would make it dirty like they did. Pieces of shit spend their whole life destroying people within our nation using foreign spies. They used Russians. They used Ukrainians to take me out and others. What do you think they are now? Dead. That's why Ukraine and Russia's fighting, because our CIA used them against U.S. citizens. They think they're funny, passing money back and forth. Your tax dollar pays Russian and Ukrainians 10 years ago to take out U.S. citizens. And when I say CIA, I mean the whole thing, all the contractors, all the corporate people. That's why they call it the company. They're regulating the buying and selling, and that's why God called them the beast and the whore of Babylon. Gosh darn garbage. So I went to look for an apartment today. So what happens is they curse me from getting my vehicle inspected by the state troopers. So all of a sudden an apartment opens up, but it's not real. First off, they hit me a couple times on the way. Then she said something, but then the punchline, an open-ended water bill. Water bill, pesticide, or pest control, and trash removal is open-ended based upon use. You know what that means? Whatever they want to charge you. Like you're going to get a lawyer and sue them. Watch your pipe break. It's going to go through your meter. They know what they're doing. They're not going to pay for any pipe breaks that they don't have to. I haven't been in an apartment complex or an extended stay in winter without massive pipe breaks. When it comes to them paying $500 for the water bill or you, it's you. They'll take it out of your rent and say you didn't pay your rent. That's why the apartment was available. People go there, you mean you don't know how much you're going to charge me? I mean, okay, put me on the city. I trust the city because you can fight that. But I'm going to trust some probably narcotics distributor that launders money through an apartment complex chain that they own. I'm going to trust them to charge me the right amount of money. With Trump paying whatever he wants, with that person over there paying. I mean, Biden's part of it. I already told you that. He pays people to do things. If he doesn't do it directly, the Democratic Party pays operatives to do things. They're all the same pieces of shit. They go back and forth making money. They're crooks. They're legal crooks because they work for FBI, DHS, just like, Kroll. Kroll and Weinstein, they never got in trouble because they do the same thing for the government employees. They actually control the bosses in an out of control fashion. You've used the word, oh, yes, we're controlling people. And they don't make things safer. Quit conning yourselves and conning everybody else. It's not bail reform. That's not what's messing things up. It's the 20, 30 years I told you to stop doing what you're all doing. Stop being criminals. Stop spycraft murdering and laughing about it because you're richer than God himself on this planet. And God is not rich on this planet. He doesn't have the church's money. The church has its own money and spends it on what it wills. Oh, but I fed people. And how many did your church curse down so they would need food, need lodging, need clothes? It's a Ponzi scheme. The church is a Ponzi scheme. And they know it. But it's called willful ignorance. But it gives them the ability and the power to curse everybody down for being the sinner that they cause. All through the Bible, it's a common message. And that God is not mocked. You're mocking God, church. Calling everybody else a sinner while you curse them down and curse them off with whatever it is you call it. Most people call it bullshit. But now we got Christian cops that are offended, and we're going to take him out because he said that. But if I didn't say that, you wouldn't do anything, right? Again, willful ignorance and bullshit. God's not stupid. God let you put me to sleep a certain number of years until you were about to kill me. And then he woke me up. So you can't use any of that. And even when I was awakened, I didn't say anything. Just went around healing everyone. There's a possibility that I actually healed more people than Jesus in my travels. So again, we increase the curses on the evil earth. If it is earth, that is. Who are we? The heavenly host and God. We shall make them in our image. We, us. You're all fake cops. Come on. You know what drives them to be cops and to do law enforcement mission? All the crimes they committed. You can watch it. As soon as I hit that right button, they run off and do another case real quick. And then come back and try to attack me again. Again, if they didn't connect to me, I couldn't read their networks. Wouldn't have known anything. No, they're not here for any just purpose, any positive purpose, any purpose of safety or security. They're here to continue to play their demonic game out. It doesn't make the world safer. Yes, you're in a position called public safety, and you do respond to 911 calls. And there's a lot more 911 calls to respond to because you're in public safety. That's how Satan works. That's how devils work. That's how con people work. Oh, I hope you never need 911 because we owe you $10 million just for the work you've done in the last 5 years. Because that's the going rate. I've seen these deep state people create the worst case law for police officers while acting like they were doing something vital to law enforcement. So again, this case that I just posted or tweeted, that case is similar to the Mohammed Noor case, believe it or not. So I don't think Mohammed Noor should have been. I don't even know if his lawyer got my message. I mean, they block emails. They don't give a shit. There was a certain point where they just did whatever they wanted. This is it. No, it's not because of something I did. We're not going reverse round and round with your shit, all of you. Whether you be CIA, FBI contractor, or any other fucker that's a fuck on the earth and a fuck on the people. Because that's what you are. You're a fucker, all of you. And why am I saying that? Because they sit in the head all day long when they fuck me. The first thing out of their minds is, you're a fucker, Larry. You're a fucker. And if they say it enough, Satan rewards them. The planet rewards them. And say, yes, he's the fucker. That's actually what happens. The system is so satanic that they can fuck me all day and they'll say I'm the fucker. But what happens? They get fucked. That's the words they use. I told you, I'm going to use law enforcement language and language people use to help them understand what's going on. And boy, when this thing hits, when that curse hits, they're going to begin to understand what a fucker is. Again, the idea of calling somebody that's not dangerous is going to play out over and over again as God causing further danger. So you understand what danger is, but be willfully ignorant. God can cause danger for the rest of the existence of this planet till it's ground up to little pieces of sand. And little pieces of defecation floating through the atmosphere of the cosmos, or outside the atmosphere, should I say. That's what's wrong with the world. Quit with this. It's Democrat. It's Republican. You all know. McCarthy's a crime boss, an organized crime boss. Look at Matt Slap and the freaking slaps in the CPAC. About right. I don't know what the FBI is going to do because they're fake too. But I mean, what should happen is the FBI should be in there with a search warrant in the morning, kicking the doors. Matt Slap's one of them, man. Emperor Matt Slap gave the thumbs down to Moore. Sent a few operators his way. Every time I look at McCarthy, I go, look at the mob boss. Look at that freaking mob boss. Standing up there like he's honest. Like he cares. Like Christianity means anything to him. But now the big, he's the dangerous guy because he said, fuck you to us. When you spent freaking 30 years saying, fuck you to me and my family, till you destroyed all of it while I was asleep. Bring your bitches around here and they go, fuck you, while they sit there waving at me. No, they bitches, they whores. Bucking me from physical therapy. Oh, you don't deserve it. You got to earn it. I earned it before I hit this planet, you pieces of shit, vermin, earth scum. Whores of Babylon, demonic spawn. No, this isn't a come to Jesus meeting. This is to end this planet meeting. Whoa! Keep laughing, because you still have your money. Ukrainians and Russians were laughing at all the money CIA sent their way for taking me and the others out. Vice versa, Now look where they are. A ton of them are 6 feet under, or not even found. They're just, and that was it. Oh, Overland Park, and they're going to get me. Oh, weirdos. Every last one of you's a freaking weirdo. What happened to this world? Chasing after people like, ooh, we're gonna muscle you. A mafioso. That's what you are. You're not a cop. You replace police tactics and techniques with mafioso. Bunch of mafioso thugs. Oh, wait till it gets a load of us. Does that sound like your other construct, the Aurora Theater? What a bunch of hell spawn over there. They just happen to say that somebody's a child molester when they're not. Oh, that's the only time it happens. See, we do charge people for that. 1 out of every million. Well, see something, say something, bud. What a fake crap that is. Yeah, I think they're in the mode where I'm going to be their buddy, and they're going to be mine, and then I'm going to fix all their programs and fight all their wars with my strategy and my power. And then they're going to run off and get awards and money, and then send people to take me out. So I don't have any credibility to say, hey, he's the one that's doing it, not our cops, not the Pentagon, not Trump. So they're so good at it, they must have done it for quite a long time to many, many people. They're fakes, man. They're frauds. But beyond that, they're devils, demons, antichrist, witches, and sorcerers. And they go, oh, see, he's like anti-LGBTQ, and we don't know what's going to happen. We think he's going to freak out on one of them, and he may have killed 10 of them. And I'm a cop. It's not a cop, assholes. That's something so heinous, I don't even think they have a word for it. I mean, corruption doesn't really paint the right picture. They just couldn't deal with not being cursed. They couldn't deal with it. Look, read the Bible. The end times includes them being cursed. Wake up. Quit playing the thing you call the church. And whatever else you are. I mean, have you seen such a piece of shit police department as Aurora? But Aurora calls them and they go, oh, okay, bud. Like you don't see anything in the news. Well, we're the blue line. You're the blue line. Then why do you kill cops? Why do you psychologically, physically, and metaphysically kill cops if you're the blue line, pieces of shit? You're not the blue line, all of you. And I'm not killing cops. I'm taking out what comes against cops. And if it's you, then it's you. Little did I know that's what they were. Those pieces of shit in the Marshal Service. They're going to get theirs regardless of what they have to do. But believe me, when God gets busy, they'll get theirs regardless of what they do. Don't bother to play act anything around me ever again. Don't. I'm not going to believe you're my buddy unless my bank account has the appropriate amount of money that you owe me to restore security and safety in my life. 0. There's nothing else you can do. Otherwise, I'll curse you. Because you caused the life to be that. There were no choices in my life that I made. All the choices I made were valid. And if absence your presence would have been well. You decided to enter in and destroy everything.
Let's go party, buds. They had people flying down to Florida from the Marshal Service, from the FBI, from DHS, having parties in Naples and Miami while they were relating what they should do to me on the government's dole. Meanwhile, every time I go to a club, they told him, go to the club and make sure he doesn't get with a woman. Very dangerous. Meanwhile, all the dangerous people are out there. And all the dangerous people told them I was dangerous. To them and their murderers. If they could get me back into Florida, they'd be happy. Go to the beach. It's a great job, isn't it, guys? I like Moore's trying to get with somebody. Let's go have some sex. And most of it was the woman was trying to get with me. So some I don't even know. But I caught him a few times. Look, I don't even know how criminals don't. I know some of you look the part, but most criminals, you should be able to smell an FBI agent or a DHS agent or an officer. They're wackos. They walk in the club. Oh, that's what that is. Well, maybe because I'm innocent that I can smell them. You know what they smell like. Because they're full of it. Well, you want to run me into the ground? I'm going to play catch up here. And then God will take it from there. So I was totally in pain, absolutely in pain. But I'm going to get a coffee maker and something else from Target. Got about 8 to 10 officers and agents walking around the store making sicko faces at me. Now, you have to understand, my life is isolated by these people, has been isolated. I've been psychologically and physically tortured by them. They physically torture you by blocking your physical therapy and health care. Why do you do it? Because you're sickos. The same reason why you psychologically operate people into crime. So again, that's what they do. That's what your government's doing. The Bible says it is not good for man to be alone. And the criminals in the governments, as law enforcement officers, come in and say, it is not good for that man to be with a woman. It's too dangerous. Okay, we can help you out. Yeah, we'll give you a little something. Don't worry. Give a donation. Uncle Sam will give a donation. That's what they do. Paul says, if you can abstain from fornication, which is sex outside of wedlock, any type of sex, self-pleasure, man on man, woman on man, man on woman, they on they, then you need to get married to a woman is what I would do. I'm not going to judge any of you because I know what they're doing. Again, I explained some of it that happened in my life. It happened to some of you, but not as extensive. That's why you still have money and jobs. Now, if I had become gay, it may have worked. I don't know. The other guy I talked to a gay guy one time, and he said they probably wouldn't let you to be with anybody if you were gay anyway. There's a Puerto Rican gay guy that lived around us, and we had like a little group of friends that would talk every so often, like just seeing each other. Like we weren't the drug dealers or the drug users. But it was good that we were there. We were like caring people. And, he was kind of judgmental a little bit, how some gay men get. They just they become that female word. I think I used it earlier. So they are moving as Christians, protecting the church, blocking men from women. Because it pays well. But then what do? The block is on, but what are they doing? They try to attract him, but nobody get with him. Did it in Santa Fe, did it in Naples, did it in Baltimore. You name it, they were there. California. Meanwhile, the real dangerous people are out there dancing in the clubs all day. We agree. Trying to see if this is the Popo or someone else. It doesn't look right. That's not the Popo. Maybe he's just drunk from Ron's pub. Kind of strange. Just kind of in the wrong place, wrong time. Bad vibe. Hopefully he's not eyeing us over here. Or she, I don't know. I think they're going now. Somebody came up behind them. No, they're not together. That's what they'll do at these places. They'll watch. Like if I wasn't in the parking lot, the vehicle may have came over and started driving through. So it's not teasing. This is a psychological operation. You might as well use the right terms. Bait is kind of what it is, but it's a spycraft thing. You bait the person, you block them, you sexually frustrate them, and they'll say, well, we're just testing to see if he's a rapist or she's a rapist. Do you think maybe after 5 years of that, you could cause somebody to rape somebody? I mean, isolation, doing that, coming around laughing at the person, online subliminal messaging all day. I mean, you can't be that ignorant. There's no way. That's what one of the officers said inside. That's one of their excuses. They just, made mistakes. They just didn't know. I mean, they do this every operation. And see, that came from another officer that knows about it. At the end of the operation, they go, oops. And they go, well, you did it. It's because you did it. Because I got money. That's mean God loves me. Everything they do and say in the church and in these organizations, this is Jesus. I'm a nobody because I have nothing, but I have more than Jesus. So what did you just do to Jesus, all of you? You just dissed Jesus down further because Jesus had less than I did, or than I do. I mean, this is real. Satan tells him what to say all day long, and part of it is fuck you. Again, if you wanted to be a preacher and going, love the world, love everyone, then you shouldn't have blocked that life. You must learn your lessons. You must. Otherwise, the system will empower you further, all of you. That life was probably about 4 or 5 ago. Right. Within this life, of course. Now, what they would tell us, see, and we won, we changed him. No, you changed, therefore God changed me. And what we're doing to the earth is now changed. And I warned you years prior. And then the FBI psychologist, well, that just shows you it's his psychology. It's him. And he believes God is with him when, of course, God would not be with him. Who is he for God to be with him? Who does that sound like? No, that's them. That's the reasoning of unreasonableness in the FBI, in the DHS, in the Marshal Service, in the DOJ, local police, state police. Again, one day you'll realize that God decides what God decides. And your wealth is no indication of God on this planet. Now, the afterlife is where it starts. Although God could take your money here if the planet corrects. which is what's happening. Well, we thought that if we gave you all the money that you would ever need, that you wouldn't feel indebted or not indebted or a need to take money for crime. Like, when is but again, enough, it's never enough. They always want more. They're always ready to commit that next crime. But they call it law enforcement, intelligence, corporate business, security, safety. No matter what they call it, it's a crime. Now, you're speaking to somebody that studied criminal investigations and actually understands it better than the majority of them. So, again, I understand what crime, effectuating crime while engaged in law enforcement is, as far as it being legal. But it's very limited. I think that was actually the instruction. Limited use. You know who that was? That was my FLETC law instructor. An FBI agent, retired. No, there's no doubt that they did Bruce Schultz. Are you going to tell me Bruce Schultz? What are you going to tell me about him? Oh, you don't think that's what it was, right? Just mental illness, right? Right, FBI psychologist? They're moving things that should be moved against the Ukrainians and the Russians before the war, so you wouldn't even have the war. If the CIA, the FBI, and all them were honest, at least to the point that they wouldn't attack U.S. citizens with fabricated cases, and sometimes outside of all of that, while just going wink, wink, then the Ukrainians and the Russians probably never would have fought because they're part of that system. That's why the director of the CIA is kind of confused where Putin won't come along. Putin played him. See, the same operation they tried to use today against me, they used against the director of the FBI, and he thought he was buddies with the big Russian oligarchs, which included Putin. So they took out all the people that could stop them. Putin knows. Putin, I do that thing at Medvedev and Putin laugh, and they do laugh. You take out your best people for money. What pieces of shit? I mean, you have wonderful lives. The life I was supposed to live. Oh, sour grapes. You want to call it sour grapes? Let's go. Call it sour grapes. Like I said, Brother Jesus is ready to let go with those light bulbs. So that was a cue that I brought on early on upon awakening. God goes, look at that name. And all of a sudden it became Jesus. So Jesus is a lot of things in the mind. Zeus was not a person, but Zeus was seen. I told you in Puerto Rico, the son and the daughter is Mary and Jesus. God said, I rule with a lot less people than they think. But again, if you would come back to God in a real way or go to God in a real way, and if you're asleep, that's okay if you're not doing what I say you're doing. Because I'm not saying it to you if you're not doing it. However, there is the Babylon thing God's reminding me. It is Babylon. So there is a risk of being there. That's why I say when a cop gets killed, it's one of two things. Either they're a victim of it or they're part of it. Because you could just be not part of it, but be linked to it by being an officer. And then when God rules law enforcement, you end up getting killed. Because if you don't separate from it, you'll then be partaker of the sin. That's essentially what happened in my life. I mean, it played out a little differently, but essentially, I couldn't be around them. I mean, it's disgusting. Again, now I'm a little more harder than I was because God dumbed down that feeling and empathy. I mean, I still have empathy for people, but it's a little bit different now. Now, it wasn't because I was going to be partaker of some sort of plague. I hate saying I meant partaker of their plagues. It was more like I couldn't be around such evil. I still cannot see myself in law enforcement only because it's so corrupt. And it's funny because when I do some work online, some of the officers go, "You should have been in like DOJ or something. You should have tried that in life. You probably have been pretty good." Actually, been great, but because they know how ludicrous it is. Now, they changed the world and changed my life so it could never be fixed. That was what they spent every waking moment doing. While the other criminals were running around Florida and everywhere else doing whatever they wanted. Their focus on operating crime and fabricated cases caused other people to be raped and killed, some directly because they whacked somebody's head and they did it. So they actually change. You can watch them change the government to counter what I say. But it's not legal still. It's just the deep state saying, next mission creep. It's just pay me and it'll be over. I'm not extorting you or anything. Obviously, you've extorted me. You've harmed me. And I've extended so much work to you. A lot of it, your own agents took the credit for. And some of it, they did stuff to me so I would back off and move in a different direction. And then they still went with what I had worked up. And they actually did that to me in the Marshal Service. I didn't know it until I woke up and had a few years. And I'm like, And then somebody else would come up with the project somewhere else in the Marshal Service. I don't think it's by chance. Not at all. So again, the goal for what they're doing is they will actually send you messages not at a certain point not to do what they cause you to do in your life. But they want to make sure that nobody can pull you out of where they put you. So before they actually make a person a criminal, they know that they've been able to manipulate. And again, the manipulation isn't a natural manipulation. It's not like, a con man walks up and cons you. These are years and years of spycraft techniques, messaging, isolation, overstimulation, understimulation to get it where they want it. And part of it is that the person his life can't be fixed by simply telling them not to do it, or even a little bit of force. Because they'll bring up the head, well, we told you not to do that. I'm like, bullshit. And in fact, a lot of what I did would have led to something well until they got involved. Believe me, it's a form of slavery. But again, it's a form of torture. I mean, they're psychological Caligulas. They're very sick people. So they arrest that guy who took money from Russia because he overstepped a certain line. You can be shadow remunerated, but you can't be remunerated. So it's kind of weird because there's probably 10 people in close proximity to him in the FBI while he worked there that were being shadow remunerated, and he probably was also. So it's, again, everything I'm speaking about is sabotage, is assault on federal officer, because they're attacking federal officers while they're working in the office. Again, even baiting officers while they're trying to work with the intention of causing them to fall. I mean, you know what environment you're doing that in, all of you? Like sexually changing officers in the workplace? That's cursing off the work. That's a felony. So everything I just described is actually a form of assault on a federal officer. My coworkers assaulted me while I worked because they blocked my work. For nefarious purpose and reason, for malicious purpose and reason, with criminal intention. Just because they're law enforcement doesn't mean they can't have criminal intention. That's where they went with it. Because I kept explaining, wait, you have criminal intention. You're allowed to commit crimes as a law enforcement officer as long as there's no criminal intention. So they kind of changed it that law enforcement officers can't have criminal intention. It's not really in law, but it's in deep state rules, so a judge won't go against it. Thank you. No, I watch and respond to everything I say. Oh, I'm responsible for what they did? Nah, not by a long shot. I asked for very little in life. They're the ones that went over the line. But at this point, because they went over the line for so long, I have to be paid those damages to secure my life. I mean, it's just really it's worse than a double standard and worse than double mind. I mean, it's very sick. It's like a Nazi party type stuff. Just because they're not Nazis doesn't mean that they're not the Nazi party as far as psychology and behavior and interpersonal relations and that kind of thing. I mean, you could be a Jewish Nazi. I explained that when I woke up also. I mean, I've been explaining this for a decade, or no, more than a decade. What is it, about 2 decades? I mean, I can't even go get a massage. So what does that do? No, to massage is that. God urinates on massage at this point. You took something that was wholly healthy and made people happy, and you turned it into Satan's spawn. Sexualization. Psychological torture. So again, if you do it to me, I'm not going to believe that it's my fault, even though maybe I was kind of weirded out the first day, because see, that's part of spycraft, to continually to do something to me to make me feel like it's my fault. Again, who does that? Narcissists. No, I didn't feel like it was my fault. I knew they were screwing around. But I had to break out of the spell they tried to put me under. And they even send that piece of shit guy who may have been the owner or may not have been the owner. May have been a federal agent or state officer or something like that. But he comes over to Sprouts every day that I go to Sprouts. Now, it just destroyed my ability to get massage in Santa Fe in a theoretically safe environment. Again, a big corporation. But he comes over every day when I'm there, stalking me. He'll burn in hell for an eternity. And let me tell you, 30 seconds in hell is an eternity. Something God did for me, and it was around when the point where God said that I would have died, and he kept me alive. So they were surgically drugging me, and God said to me, "Soka, get ready." This is how I know it wasn't, because God wouldn't initiate it before doing it. I mean, if it wasn't God, you know what I mean? It would just happen, and God goes, "Okay, now this is." It was more like God was saying, "Okay," and it was like, it was just I could feel it. I was like descending. For like 30 seconds in a minute, I was being tortured, completely tortured. And God said, "That's what hell feels like." So God wanted to show me what it was so I can explain it to everyone. So, with God, I drafted that 30 seconds in hell is an eternity, but you're going to be in there more than 30 seconds, all of you. Or a minute in hell, I can't remember. It was like 30 seconds a minute, something like that. And then shortly after I was gone. And I wake up. It's like a movie. I forget. I think it was, I forget the guy's name. What's that family? Not Louis Bridges. I don't remember their name. I can see him, but I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name. Douglas, right. I think it was like one of the Douglas kids or Kirk Douglas or something like that. One of them, it was a movie and he wakes up, and says, I don't remember what it was, but I had one of those moments. And God said, if I wasn't here, you'd be dead. So I'm actually in my afterlife. God kept me here. I get left behind. I'm here on purpose at this point. What they tried to do is kill me before I woke up. That's probably what they did to Bruce Schultz. No, Bob, I don't know. But again, once you wake up, they can still put you to sleep. So they've been able to put me to sleep at times. So again, it's a spiritual battle of staying awake and that type of thing. Well, I can't bless awoke because it doesn't understand equality. Now, I'm not going to buy Ron DeSantis' shit. They're just as bad on the other side. The funny part is I just sit back and say it for a while, but you watch him speak and you're like, but you were teaching the white awoke before they came along. So did you learn a lesson from that? Did any of you learn a lesson from that? No, you don't, right? Because you're trying to teach the white awoke again. But not awakening. I'm not saying awakening. That's why you won't hear me speak out on some things sometimes, because just sit back and watch it. So again, some people call it karma, but there's also a sin reaction. And the LGBTQ thing that's going on now is a sin reaction to the church doing the same thing to them. I still think the Bible says not to get involved in lawmaking. Now, Jews could do it because they're a law-based society. But again, some of their famous rabbis kind of, it's again, Judaism is really developed and supposed to be like a hands-off thing. So I was reading the scriptures the other day. God has these scriptures. I don't even think it's bookmarked. It just always shows up. I can't remember which one it was. Isaiah? I think it might be Isaiah. But essentially, that was Deuteronomy, I think. But it tells you how to stone people that are worthy of death. So what happens is the church comes up in the mind, there it is, more. People are worthy of death. And I'm thinking, okay, do you know what you just did to yourself, Christian? That's Deuteronomy. You just erased Jesus. So don't be looking for him or invoking his name any longer. But that's generally what they do. Like the Nazis that are Christians, they go to those type of scriptures. But again, when you go through the scriptures, who's worthy of death? Whoever God says it is, and it is what it is. Because that's where you have to get to with it, even if you're staying in the Old Testament. So again, it's just picking and choosing how to apply it. So there's a group of people that do not see. They're victims, they're cruelly ruled. They go, well, this is the United States. We don't cruelly rule anybody. Why don't you go to Russia? Why? That's where your boss is. It's probably worse than you are. So again, remember, there's spycraft killing people here. They're really sneaky. And really evil. And part of it is denying you health care. That's actually a spycraft movement to deny you health care. So if you had health care, it'd be harder to kill you. So that's why they destroyed mine. I don't care if they're liberal or not. They all do the same thing. They ruined universal health care in the creation of it. Probably too stupid to make it cause it to be a valid program and make it go in the right direction. But again, they work for Satan, a lot of them. Not because they're gay or not because they're a liberal or anything like that. They could make it work because it comes against their evil rule. Well, you better come clean and pay me my money. That's all I got to say. Would God let you out of hell for that? I don't know. All I know is what you're engaged in, all of you, is described in the Bible as the unforgivable, even when you go to the New Testament. What I'm saying is, if you're Jewish, it's in there. But when you go to the New Testament, it's also in there. Well, right. I say God is always the same, but I told you not to get your hopes up if you're engaged in certain activity. What's happening is you have to understand that you're a devil, all of you. So you're in a human body, but you're a devil. That all that scripture was for people in human bodies that were human, or a positive being. Actually, no. God told me it wasn't for the positive being. God told me you were coming home the day you left, because I sent you. But he didn't send me into a body. He sent me in as a spirit here. I ended up in a body. And here meaning this universe. How about Brother Jesus? So again, it doesn't even apply to the angels in the body. That's more than me. I know that. Probably a virtual army. Most of them are probably asleep. Well, it's kind of it's funny because it's kind of like Russia's strategy: throw as many bodies as you can at it. Somebody will get through. It worked, right? I think there were some leaders in history that did that, and it worked. If you look at strategies of some of the, how bloody those battles were. So again, you're devils in the body, all of you. My silhouette's hilarious because I'm carrying my cross. But you're devils in the body. So that scripture of forgiveness was written for certain people. Now, I did say demons and Satan the other day. I said, seek God with all your heart and all your soul without any expectation, and maybe something will happen. But then again, you have to understand everything I was saying as far as the snake was possessed. Like the level of evil that particular Satan is and those demons may not be the level that you all are. I know it sounds weird, but you know what you've all been up to. And you know how you've manipulated the earth around people. And again, this is probably not the earth, but it comes up like that because you're all trying to make it the earth. You don't want people to understand that it's just another hellish planet. It has nothing to do with being earth. You're not going to put like an eighth of the earth or a quarter of the earth in hell or half the earth in hell, and then say it doesn't apply to your people, all of you. Everybody's going to go to hell if anybody's going to go to hell on this planet. This planet's not authorized to have a hell, or wasn't when it was Earth. Because again, if we look at the spiritual journey, at some point the beings that inhabit this place were somewhere around Earth, if not Earth. So again, the scriptures do not apply to devils in the body. Again, that's woe unto them, lake of fire, without a question. Well, like I said, there are questions about certain beings. If you go to, I don't post it because I don't want to give you any fodder. Just like I didn't buy miniature cameras because I didn't want to give you any more fodder to say, oh, maybe he's putting that in a bathroom somewhere. Because it doesn't matter what I do with something, they'll just say it and everybody go, oh yeah, agree with it, you'll get money. But that's out the window. I want to get some small cameras so I can put them where I need to put them. I probably won't stop buying cameras because I don't put them in bathrooms to peep at people. You probably do, all of you. But again, I try to limit what I do, so they don't have extra stuff. Like I stopped using bathrooms because I didn't want them to say, "Well, he's in the bathroom," and so I made sure I went to the bathroom before I left and hurried home. Again, for them, it's psychosexual victory, interfering with somebody's bathroom habits. That's how sick the government is. Well, it's either do that or give them additional way. And they were most likely drugging me with something. That's probably why I had stomach issues. See, that's how funny they think they are. So again, devils are limited in their mechanism of salvation. But whatever was here the other day, there was a possibility. What I see going on this planet is so deceptive and so sublimely evil. No, I can't see God forgiving you, but God forgives who God chooses to forgive. I know that, and God never had to teach me that lesson. That's why He doesn't speak to me in riddles, and parables, and metaphors, and similes. Although sometimes we, are kind of esoteric. No, I tell, just so you know, I tell God, well, God, I can't be this way without you. It's you. It's not me. He's like, don't worry about it. They claim it's them, so you just be you. Well, I and the Father are one. It's just the reality. I mean, I didn't like plan on it. Plan to get married and go to church and be a preacher. And it wasn't going to be a preacher probably for a few years. So I got my life back in order and got with the wife, and everything started working in that direction. And I preferred an evangelist. I was supposed to help Brother Nisley, but I think they all were working for the cops anyway at that point. So, again, Brother Nisley, I had money. I was going to help you and your wife. So I hope you didn't betray, but you may have. It got real weird. So I understood weirdness was happening, but I didn't know who was doing what back then. He showed up with the same tie I was wearing. So again, that's kind of spycraft, what they do. When they're drugging you, of course, that's going to have an effect. But let's not pull punches here. You're drugging people, all of you. Every mass shooter could have been taken through that drug program. And then, they let them clean out, but their brain patterns are already skewed. They skew their brain patterns, their victims' brain patterns with drugs, and they take them through a bunch of things. And when they know the brain pattern shifted, then they apply psychological trauma in another direction, and then they bonk out without the drugs. Should have been in the CIA, Larry. I may have killed my dad. Somebody probably killed my dad. My real dad. No, it was considered not just. That's why God showed up. But again, they blocked me. It's funny because I was starting to wake up and I'd be like, what is... as a little kid. And then I go back to sleep. I couldn't see anything again. I could see the devils and the demons. No, real. I think my dad was a healer. I don't know if he knew it or he just had that ability. Most likely he was, based upon who I am. As far as, because it plugs into the body life, the family journey. Again, I'm actually probably the only one in my family that's real. So I carry that, whatever it is, even though I'm not the firstborn. Again, if the firstborn is not usable, I'm affected by money too much. They manipulate my brother with money. Like if they want him to be nice to me, they'll push him in that direction. But that's only to let me down later or make me go in the wrong direction and prepare for something that never happens. Did the same thing with my mother. That's what the CIA does. That's what our people do. And they bring in people from Russia, Ukraine, and other places and make them millionaires and have them do it too. Now they're running their own thing, man. It ain't real anymore. It hasn't been real in decades. I mean, really super unreal. Not just the way everybody thought that people were corrupt. It's way past that. It's Caligula. Psychological Caligulas, if not physical ones. No, if they let them take out Bob, they get money. If they let them take out Bruce, they get money. If they let them take me out, they get money. I'll go to hell, believe me. That's what hell was made for, those people. Because when Jesus came, he forgave everyone else. And he was given the power to do that. It's just, again, the idea is Jesus really any different than any of us? No. But that's what God said he was, and that's what God said. Again, remember, you can't deny the power. The power is God. Jesus didn't deny the power, which he called the Father. Jesus unwitched. They witched Jesus. You can go ahead and witch me. God will make me a witch. We don't care. We'll destroy you as a witch. Make me a devil. I'll destroy you as a devil. Been there, done that. We're not here to play a game. Like God said, like I said that God said further, you're coming home by several mechanisms, but he said, anyway, I sent you. You were coming home anyway. You're just here to do whatever I have you to do. No, I'm not. I'm not part of Earth. Or whatever planet this is. Never was, never will be. So God said it doesn't matter what happens while you're here. You're just here to do what you do. Because we're not gonna title it. Oh, God built me to mess you up. Unless I live the life that, or at least again, we don't ask for much, but it has to be above a certain level. Because if I go down below a certain level, then you see what's going on around us, right? That means the whole world's going down even further. I'm the king of like homeless people, so I have a place to live. But again, I'm a saint of homeless people. So my mind structures a lot of the programs. Every once in a while I'll tweet about it, but I'm inside talking to people all day. Again, my name was something like Talk in ancient times. One of my names. Also Rag. I do that great. It's like a 70s term, but 70s, early 80s. Well, again, I didn't look at that and go, "That's me," and no, I didn't just come up with it. And I was actually doing things, and I don't think I goes, "Look, that's you." So again, I say it like this: I don't know when it happens, or even if I'm going to presently experience it. But God takes my personality, and this is available to other people too. This has happened in different ways. A big person, they have the ability to project, and they don't know everybody they're touching, and they don't know the conversation, but it's their personality generally. And again, if they're devils, they're doing the same thing evilly. So God would project me around the globe. So I built all my power to survive at least this far before I even got here for all the good works I was doing. I mean, it's immense. So the planet is really, really in trouble. I've got enough power to probably be 10 times as rich as Elon Musk. And I'm probably 10 times as smart as Elon Musk. They just keep killing my intelligence. That's part of what they do. So it's really weird what they do. They want me to help, but then they kill my intelligence and they kill my life. And all they want is money and sex and drugs and rock and roll, really. So it's like Caligula. But God would just go to the next thing, And a lot of times it was like, I'd be saying something to God like really nice, like off the beaten, but not even path. It would be on. It'd be this is a woman over here, a young lady. She's all going to turn on. But that's not doesn't mean like turn her on that way. It means turn her spirit on. Plate says Lexi 99. See, what does Lexi sound like? Law enforcement XI. She's a law enforcement XI, or who she's supposed to be. Again, the question is whether she gets there. She's pretty young. She could be. And even though she could still be an I in the community. Like I'm an I. So maybe that's why we got her back on. I'm going to go in real soon. Thank you. Thank you, Larry. What? That wasn't me. Somebody's trying to talk to me. Oh, her. On. There's another woman just threw some trash out. Okay, she's just starting. Hopefully she makes it. So I'd say something really nice to God, like what do they call not off the cuff. What is that word? Off the hook. That's it. Off the hook, nice to God, and the guy go. No, I understand. We're a team. Actually, God appears sometimes as other things and has other beings with him, and I'm one of them. So like the whole Fa and La thing. God's Fa and I'm La, and together we're Fa La. Shah. So we protected those people over the ages together. That was one of our operations. Now they're in Israel and they're owned by evil Israelis. That's quite possibly true. I actually met a Ben, what are they called? Ben, maybe they're Ben. I can't remember that. They're Ben something. But they're called Falashas. A young lady was living in our. Were they living there? What were they doing? I think the guy was staying there or something, renting a room or space. He ended up like cops came looking for him or some shit. But he was an American. His girlfriend was Israeli, but she was an African Israeli. And she was like a follow shot. So that's like really weird. Hopefully they weren't fake. They do that shit. Trying to get you to aid and abet some way, And act like it wasn't a setup. But of course, if you don't do anything, they don't even write reports. Like it was never there, never happened. Now, you all may have a life like that somewhere. I don't know. And it's not me compensating for a poor life. Not at all. It may be God actually compensating for my poor life. God had mourned my poor life and what you did to it. Again, it's not the fact that people are worse off than me or better off or anything like that. The fact is I had a course in life and a minimum requirement based upon what effort I put in. And to have all you, and they think it's funny. They all walk around like they're the ones that worked hard. So again, it's kind of satanic, the upside down, the real order. Again, Bruce Schultz, Bob Levinson, the real people that worked hard. They like to call it survival of the fittest, but it's bullshit. Again, anytime you're committing crimes, then you're no longer survival of the fittest because you've skewed the playing field. You should all be in prison, and many of you could have received the death penalty. Wouldn't even be on the earth anymore. Not recommending death penalty, just saying that's your law, that's your mind, that's the way it was supposed to rule. Live by the death penalty, die by the death penalty, if it applies. And again, that's the idea, and I want to probably end here, that's the idea of taking away the New Testament so you can point to Deuteronomy and say, well, see, people earn death. Well, then you earn death because then Jesus is not there to help any of you. And again, of course, some of you are so far off that you're condemned by God already in the scriptures, all of you. It doesn't matter. Whatever somebody is physically, it doesn't matter because of the metaphysical. It has to match metaphysically. So even if somebody's gay metaphysically, or they're an alcoholic metaphysically, or they're a drug user or a thief metaphysically, or even a murderer metaphysically, if they were possessed to it, the being that possessed them carries that penalty. That's why, again, I try to say it as many times as I can. That's why Jesus said he didn't come to get rid of the law. Because based upon what we wrestle against and woe into that thing that causes people to fall, that's what's going to pay. Because if you take away the law, then there's no longer a penalty. They're playing a law game is what they're playing, but it's not a game. Right? So if Jesus had taken away all of the law, then nobody would be responsible for you falling. And when I woke up, God said, most of these people are innocent anyway. I mean, God didn't explain it all overnight, so it's kind of strange. Just come piecemeal. And God goes, I forgive people that are already innocent anyway. He didn't explain it yet. He just said that. It's not that big a deal. These people are actually innocent anyway. You'll see. He didn't say you'll see, but that's what it kind of was in the end. Stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise